Hello YouTubers, hello and welcome back. I just thought for a change we would have a potter about on my bench, and I came across a bag with resistors in with some funny colour bands I couldn't recognise. I've had to use my phone and an app to work out the resistance values on some of them because they're not the common ones. So where did I get these from? Well, I got these from auction of miscellaneous odds and ends from eBay, and there was a whole load of parts and bits and pieces, and this is the resistors that came with it. And till now I've never ever done really very much with these, so I'm just cutting up my little bits of paper, which is all it is, just A4 size sheet paper cut up, writing on the labels of what's in the bags, so that when we're looking for some funny value resistors we can see them more easily. So that's what I've been doing. Also, I've been looking at fuses. I've got in here a slow blow 5-amp fuse in preparation for you know what. Just having a general potter about really. Been working hard on the radio and doing resistors and things. It's good every now and again to take a break from doing stuff, do something different, you know, and then you come back to your radio all afresh. So that's what I decided I'm going to do. I'm also I've got these fuses. These are 6.3 amp fuses, and I've got two of these. There's 10. So we're just gonna cut these open, put them in one bag with a label on it so that we can see more clearly what they are. That's the plan. I'll let you know when I've done that. It's just potting around really, just for a change. Right, there's our fuse holder wired up. All we've got to do now is cut it into between the switch and the transformer. If any of you are going to ask me why I not got the green towel down, it's over there. I've just washed it and I'm using my dehumidifier, which is that there, to try and dry it. So I don't really feel like doing any work on the radio today. I just wanted to mess around, and this is what I decided to mess around with. So all we've got to do now is cut that in with some connection blocks, put some masking around these wires so that, because they're going to be live mains voltage, so we don't get shocked, and then we should be good to go. Right, we've cut in our fuse using a connection block, and yes, I know the wire is too long, but I didn't want to trim up wire to the right length when it's not going to be its permanent home. I'm going to be using this wire for other things, so it's just to try out. So let's try it and see what happens. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. Is it going to blow or not? There's no load on, variac is turned off. See what happens. Right, first turn on. First turn on, that is. That's the time and the date. Coming back to the bench. So we've turned it on and it's come straight on, and it's no issue whatsoever, but I don't trust it just yet. Something else I want to say as well. A long time ago, when I was very very young, that was a long time ago, I used to remember the engineers. I mean, we didn't get on very well, you know. I was like a young boy to them, just like I feel sometimes now. You know, you get young lads that just look like children. They're not, they're grown men, but to us older folk, that's what they look like. No offence, please don't take offence. And there was a lad that worked there that wasn't very popular because he kept using this soldering gun. I could never understand why they were complaining. I understand now, because he was lifting tracks and having to botch repairs and things which they didn't like. So when another engineer came along and realised what had happened, blamed this lad for doing the damage. And this was the reason why, using this. And now I can understand why. Now I've got one. I just got a little simple soldering job when you're going to be using a soldering iron just for a couple of minutes. But you have to wait ages for the thing to warm up. Much easier to use this. And that's what I've been doing. So now I understand. I thought I'd tell you a little story. Right. We're going to put a load on, as we did before. So there's our Variac now hot. It's on full voltage. Turned up to 250 volts. There's no light load or anything. This is just simply turning it on and off. Okay, so you know we've got power there. So right, let's turn the damn thing off and see what happens after we turn it back on again. I mean, most of the time when you're going to be doing anything on the bench, you're going to turn it on because you want to use it, and then you turn it off because you're not doing anything with it at all. That's my opinion. So let's see what happens. So we'll use it like this for a bit and see what happens. Right, now let's turn it on. Yep, because you've got to remember the fuse is after the switch, between the switch and the transformer. So have we got power on? Yes, we have. That seems to, so far, touch wood, seems to have done the trick. Seems to have done the trick, mind you. I've got a ton of fuses now. You know, I don't do anything by halves. When I buy things that I need, I buy a lot of different things to help, and I bought a large selection of different fuses. If this was going to cause me a problem, I was going to put in that 6.3 volt slow blow, but I don't think we're going to need it. And we'll have this same arrangement on the American voltage isolation transformer. We'll have the same idea. Now, of course, the next thing, if this is going to be reliable and this is going to be okay, what we need then is to build a box to put all this together so that it's safe, so we haven't got wires dangling everywhere and light bulbs and meters dangling all over the place. We have it all in one place, and it'll be safer that way. There's no point in making anything until you're certain that what you're going to put in is going to work properly. So we'll carry on using this until either something blows that shouldn't blow or whatever, and see what happens. Yeah, one thing I was getting mixed up with was this valve here. I was saying that this valve here was the one that we replaced. It's not right. This is the valve, the 6P15 that should have been in there, and this is the equivalent valve, which was I think it's an EL84, I think it was. No, EL84, that's right. It's a narrow. Which we checked up here, remember? To see that it was an acceptable replacement for this, which it is. And I was getting that mixed up with the valve this end, ECC85. Right, okay. I've written the ECC85 on the wrong valve. It's valve 1, which is this valve. We're getting our valves mixed up. Now, it's on the diagram, it's split into two to make it easier to draw this schematic out. This is the valve we replaced. Alright, stand corrected. I'm surprised no one spotted that, but you know, we all make mistakes. And I even put it on here wrong, so that's going to have to come out. Cross that out and stick it over here. I think I'm getting my L6L12 mixed up with my 6C12. Dyslexic. Easy done. Right, this time you're going to leave the Variac turned on with nothing plugged into it on full voltage. And we're going to turn our isolation off. And now we're going to turn our isolation back on. So far so good. Now that seems to be working. Fantastic. Now we find out what our woodwork skills are going to be like, incorporating this in some kind of box. And we've got to also do the American one. I also want to put an amp meter on that as well. I want to. I'm not saying we are. We're going to change our minds a few times on this. Because remember, we've got our oscilloscope. Now we've got a signal generator, which is another big thing. We've got two of these big power supplies plus that one over there. We have an ordinary signal generator just for small stuff. We're getting a collection of equipment here, you know, and you can see how much depth I've got left. We're more or less worse than what we were before we got that. You know, we've lost our depth because of the size of the transformers and the circuitry and that, you know. It's one of them things. So we need to start putting that in some kind of a box. That's going to be fun and games with my woodwork skills. Was really only good for model airplanes. I've never really done it for big stuff like this. I used to get my dad to build these sort of things for me. I used to tell him what I wanted and how I wanted it, and in a few days would go by and he would have made it. My dad was a very clever man that way. He could make anything out of wood. Anything. Absolutely anything. Right, this is going to be just a quick little short video. I know you guys was wondering what we was going to do with this slow blow fuse. Is it or isn't it going to work? Well, so far it's worked, it's fine. So I'm going to end the video here and say thank you very much for watching. Wish you all the best. See you next time.